Hey guys, so I wanted to talk to you about the next steps of your Zentangle project. So last week you practiced 24 different Zentangle patterns, and you should have actually turned that in on the assignment tab when you were done with it. But that was just practice, so you could practice doing some different Zentangles, and that you could kind of see which ones you like, so that when you start your final project, you'd have kind of some idea of what you wanted to do. There are obviously hundreds of Zentangles out there. Like that was only 24 of them, okay? So if you want to do a little exploring, you can find a lot more Zentangles online. You just have to Google like Zentangle patterns and you'll find a ton of them. And then also you can go to the YouTube channel called Zen Popper, all one word, Zenpopper, and he has a ton of different examples too, and it takes you through step by step actually how to draw them. So the next step of this project then is you're going to be creating a work of art that has Zentangles in it, and I wanted to show you some examples of that, okay? So like this is an example right here, and this is actually one that I did. So basically I just drew, it's almost supposed to be kind of like a piece of wood through the middle. Sorry about that. There's like a piece of wood going through the middle, and there's like this string going through that I colored in with colored pencil. And then in all my sections then that were left after I drew those on there, I put different Zentangle patterns that I liked, okay? And again, these are just ideas. This Zentangle pattern down here actually has a little bit of shading in it with pencil too. So that's something you can think about. Okay, here's another one. You can actually like draw an object, like this is a mouth, lips, and teeth, and then put the Zentangles inside of it. So you can just think of an object that you like to draw and then separate it into sections and then do the Zentangles inside of that. So that's an idea. Maybe you love animals. I don't know why this is bouncing around like that. Maybe you love animals. You could start off by lightly drawing an animal of your choice in pencil on your paper. And then once you like it, outline it with Sharpie and then put your Zentangle designs inside of the animal somehow by separating it into sections. This one even added like a background to it, which looks awesome. This one they just kept it white, and that's fine too, because there's a lot of work in here. I don't expect you to do a background unless you really, really want to. Here's some more examples. So you could do like a food item that you like, separate it into sections and put Zentangles in that. This is just like mushrooms, could be things from nature. I thought this was interesting because they kept all of this black and white, but then they just added this little flower up here that was in color. So I thought that was kind of cool. Over here, they just did sort of a cool like mountain and water and grass and sun. It's kind of abstract, which means it doesn't look exactly like real life. It looks a little different, but we can still tell what it is. And then they put the Zentangles inside of that and added color with marker. So you can always add color if you want to. Here's an example of a flower, and they drew it going right off the side of the paper, which always looks cool. I like it when things float off the side of the paper. So they drew just what we could see of the flower, put a different Zentangle pattern inside the petals, put some Zentangle patterns in the middle here, and then they actually used paint to paint this outside part sort of in waves. So they started with like a light blue, and then it got a little darker, a little darker, a little darker, and so on. So that's an idea too. If you want to do Sharpie for this, but then incorporate paint into the background, that's awesome. There's a lot of freedom to do a lot of different things here. This one, they have Zentangles inside of these sections that go through the artwork, but then the background they did watercolor. So I'm guessing what they did was they probably took tape, like masking tape. And if you use masking tape, this is going to sound weird, but what you want to do is rip off the tape and then just take it and like stick it to your pants like this, and it picks up some of the fabric or like lint off your pants, and then you stick it to your paper, because if you don't do that, it's too sticky and it'll rip off pieces of your paper. So if you actually stick it to your pants first and pick up some lint, it'll still stick down, but it won't stick down so bad that it's pulling apart your paper. So yeah, anyways, that's kind of hard to explain over a video. Hopefully that made sense. But so if you wanted to do something like this, you would take your masking tape, get the lint off your pants, put the masking tape down wherever you want your Zentangles to be. Then you would take watercolors, paint the sections. Okay, and then after you paint it, they actually sprinkled some salt on it, and that's how you get that look right there, is by sprinkling salt. And then the salt sort of eats away at the watercolor paint, and then you just wipe off the salt when it's dry. And then when your watercolor is dry, you'd peel your tape off, and then you would put your Zentangle patterns in those open white spaces. So that's how they did that. So that's an idea too. So basically, I just wanted to show you some different ideas, but what you need to do now is come up with, what do you want to do? Okay, think about, do you want to do something like this where it's just kind of a cool art design, or do you want to draw an animal or an object of some sort? Maybe you want to draw your name in big bubble letters and put Zentangle patterns inside of that. It's totally up to you, okay? You have the freedom to just do Sharpie with this, or you can add in other things like watercolor with this one, or like regular tempera paint that we saw in that last one with the flower. Okay, you can do something like that. Like I said, or just keep it black and white, or use markers. Again, it's totally up to you what you want to do, but you need to come up with that plan, and this week that is what you are working on. Okay, so you are going to go ahead and get a new piece of paper. You're going to start your design. You're going to draw part of it lightly with pencil first, then outline it with Sharpie, and then get your Zentangle designs in there with Sharpie too. I don't recommend drawing all your Zentangles with pencil and then going over it with Sharpie, because that will take you forever and a day. Okay, but if you're drawing an object of some sort, like those big lips, like, yeah, get that on there with pencil first. Get that all set up. Get your sections drawn in lightly. But then once you start your Zentangles, I would jump in with Sharpie, because, I mean, yeah, you can erase it, so you need to be careful about what you're doing. But it's going to take you forever to draw the Zentangles with pencil first and then go over it with Sharpie, so just keep that in mind. So your plan for this week, come up with what you're doing, get a good idea, get a piece of paper, start drawing that idea, start drawing your Zentangles. If you want to add extra paint, marker, stuff like that, you have the freedom to do so. If you have any questions, you can feel free to email me at any time and ask me your questions. But this is what you're working on this week. And it will actually be due on Friday. So on Friday, what you'll want to do is go to the classwork tab and click on the assignment for this, and you'll have to upload 2 pictures. One is you holding your Zentangle drawing, and then the other is just a close-up of your Zentangle drawing. So you can either take those pictures right with your Chromebook, or you can actually take them with your phone, email them to yourself, download them to the Chromebook, and then upload them to the assignment. But I will be grading you on having those 2 photos attached to that assignment, okay? So have fun. I hope you find it relaxing. And if you have any questions along the way, you guys just let me know, okay? All right, see ya.